Here's something strange I noticed after years of sitting in open offices, conference rooms, and Friday happy hours across corporate America. A man can be in back-to-back meetings all day, surrounded by 12, 20, sometimes 50 people, and still go home feeling like nobody actually knows him. I used to think that didn't make sense. How do you feel lonely in a crowd? Then I started paying closer attention. I noticed the way conversations in American offices tend to stay on the surface. Weekend plans, fantasy football, the weather, politics, carefully avoided. Everyone friendly, nobody actually known. At first I thought this was just small talk, harmless, normal. But here's what surprised me. The small talk never grows into anything deeper. Not because people don't want connection, but because nobody wants to be the first one to break the unspoken rule. The rule that says keep it light, keep it professional, keep it together. I began noticing a pattern in the men especially. The confident handshake, the steady voice in meetings, the joke that gets a laugh from the whole table. And then 5 o'clock hits, and that same man walks to his car alone, phone in hand, no one to call. What I didn't understand at first was that this wasn't an accident. It was a performance, a version of himself built for the office, competent, unbothered, in control. Looking around, I started to see it everywhere. Men laughing hardest during meetings, then going quiet the second they're alone. Not because the day was bad, but because the laughter wasn't really about connection. It was about staying visible, staying safe. The real problem wasn't that these men had no coworkers. It's that they had no witnesses. Nobody who saw the version of them underneath the performance. Then I noticed something else. Ambition plays a strange trick on us. The more a man climbs, the more careful he becomes. Vulnerability starts to look like weakness. And weakness, in a lot of American workplaces, still quietly reads as a liability. So the mask gets thicker with every promotion. I've seen it in break rooms. Guys eating lunch at the same table every single day for years, and still not knowing each other's kids' names, still not knowing who's struggling with a divorce, or a sick parent, or a bank account that keeps them up at night. Organizational researchers have a phrase for this. They call it surface acting, performing an emotion you don't actually feel, just to fit the room. Do it long enough, and something strange happens. You stop being able to tell which version of you is real. This is where everything changes, I think, because loneliness at work was never really about being physically alone. It was about being professionally fluent and emotionally invisible at the same time. I started to wonder why men in particular carry this so quietly. And the more I watched, the more I noticed something almost universal in how American men are taught to handle pressure. Solve it, don't show it, carry it alone, and carry it well. So the workplace becomes the perfect stage for that training. Everyone performing competence. Nobody asking, "How are you actually?" And even if someone did ask, most men wouldn't know how to answer honestly. Not because they don't feel anything, but because they've never practiced saying it out loud. I've watched brilliant, respected, high-performing men sit in their cars in the parking garage after work, just breathing, not ready to go home, not ready to be anywhere, just tired in a way that promotions can't fix. And here's the quiet, uncomfortable truth I keep coming back to. We built workplaces that reward composure, and somewhere along the way, we forgot to build room for connection. But I don't think this ends in despair. I think it starts with something small. A real question asked and actually meant. A moment where someone drops the performance, even just slightly, and somebody else meets them there. Because maybe the loneliness so many men feel at work was never really about being alone. It was about spending so much energy managing how they appeared, that they lost touch with who they actually were underneath it. I don't have a clean answer for this. I just have the pattern I keep noticing, so I'll leave you with this instead of advice. Have you felt this? That specific kind of tired, surrounded by people, and still alone? Tell me in the comments. I'd like to know I'm not the only one who's noticed.